This is Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 9th meeting of the Michigan City Water Works Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Meeting of the Water Board to order. First item, approval of minutes from the meeting held on July 26th.
I'd like to take a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held July 26, 2022.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the claims.
A motion to approve the list of claims dated August 9th, 2022.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. We approve the list of claims dated August 9th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Purchase orders.
Before you have a list of 11 purchase orders. The first one is to Fastenal. This is marking paint. This was a confirming only order. Apparently due to a national shortage of materials that are part of paint supplies, are part of paint, the price of the paint has basically doubled. And so we didn't expect to have to spend this much to get the amount of paint that we bought. And we did check with multiple vendors, and it's all gone up across the board. So we ended up having to do a confirming purchase order on this for $1,195.20. And the second purchase order is to Ferguson. This is some 6-inch pipe to finish out our Twilight project. We ended up having to use a little bit of the 6-inch pipe we had for that project over here on the railroad on 11th Street. So we needed to place it back so we could finish that project out. And that was confirming for $2,470.50.
And when will you get that?
We got the pipe already.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were able to get that pipe, and actually, I was going to talk about that under old business, but we have actually moved forward with that project. Atlas Bobcat, this is maintenance of our skid loader that's manufactured by Bobcat for $1,185.62. The fourth one is to Leaps. This was poly pipe for our Whitefoot Trail project. We purchased this to be on the safe side in the event that we caught there were a couple of service lines that came down from Michiana Drive that Michigan had done. These customers are now already our customers. But we were afraid we might hit their line, so we went ahead and bought the material with the hope that they wouldn't hit the line and we could return the material, but unfortunately we hit the line, so we ended up having to use it anyway. But our plan is to pull that back out of the ground since it's brand new, once we finish that project and put the normal service line in there. We'll pull this back out and hold on to it for future. But the cost on this is $599.90. The next purchase order is to Co-Alliance. This is where we purchase our fuels and oils. This is hydraulic oil. We bought a drum of it. The drum is $699.85. We haven't purchased it yet. This is waiting approval. So.
How much is that going up? How much is that going up?
Not 100% certain. We used to buy it in smaller quantities, but when you buy in the smaller quantities, the price is more per gallon. So that they discussed this with this company, this Co-Alliance, and found that if we bought a barrel of it, because we will use it, it won't go to waste, it'll get used. But if we bought a barrel of it, we would actually save a considerable amount of money versus the smaller containers. The next one is to USA Blue Book. This is a tubing rounder for 2-inch and 1.5-inch tubing for copper tubing, $624.89. Then the next one is to Weir's Trucking. This is the truck number 9, the pintle assembly. This is where we connect the trailer. It had some damage issues that needed to be replaced and replaced quickly. So this is a confirming purchase order for $1,692.78. The next one is to Midwest Meter. This is brass for stock, $15,671.04. And we're trying to buy ahead because the brass is getting hard to get. We're working on that. This next item is to Pulse. This is time clock replacement, or time clock in their distribution center quit working properly, and so we need to replace it, $522.99. The 10th one is to Leaps. This is copper tubing for stock for $3,255.07. And the last one is to Swan Analytical. That's recertification of our turbidity analyzer for $530.
All right, any questions or comments on the purchase order?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the listing of purchase orders presented by Chris on 8/9/2022.
Second it.
Motion second that we approve the purchase orders dated August 9th. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bad debts.
To make a motion that we accept the bad debt list for bookkeeping purposes only.
I'll second it.
Motion second that we approve the bad debt list for bookkeeping purchases only. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Material acquisition of the city's behalf for the US 20 annexation.
I provided a letter to the board. Basically, in 2018, there was 426 acres along US 20 that the city annexed. As part of the annexation process, the city is responsible for providing water and sewer to those areas. We did have Haas and Associates put together an engineering estimate for us earlier this year to determine what the cost might be to run the water main that's necessary through that area. And it's about 12,000 feet of water main. And the problem we have right now as far as water main materials are concerned is that there is a 70-week lead time for water main materials. If we placed an order today, 70 weeks from now, we might get our material. It's pretty bad, and this is a national problem. Especially for a project of this size with this size water main. It becomes even worse. The city's ARPA committee, the American Rescue Plan Act money, the committee has been meeting to discuss projects. At the city council meeting on the 4th of August, or I'm sorry, on the 2nd of August, the city council did approve resolution to spend the money to buy them, to place the order for the materials right away, to allocate the money for the material, and then at a later date, allocate the money for labor. Before doing this, before we go through this process formally, I think it would be necessary for the board to agree to work with the city to come up with the agreement on how this material would be ordered and how the money would be transferred in this process. So basically what would have to happen is that the city council will have to approve this allocation of $2.5 million towards the purchase of materials. At this point they have the resolution, but I believe they still have to go, they still have to have an ordinance to do this. In order to do it, I would recommend that the department engage an engineer's assistance with creating a bid package with a dollar amount of this magnitude. This has to go out for public bid. So we would have to have the list of materials identified and specifications provided to hand out to potential suppliers. The department and the city will have to agree on terms on how and when the allocated funds will be provided to the department to pay for the material. Under normal circumstances, like when we do a water main extension for, like for example, the National Park Service water main extension, they had to pay us up front before we ordered the material. In light of how this program works with ARPA, the money, I don't know that the money can be spent, can be provided, it can be given to somebody without something received in return. So I think we need to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row. I'd have to work with Yvonne Hoffmaster and with the city council to make sure that the allocations are done properly and planned out properly. We would have to use this, the engineering that we would be getting assistance with would also review the bids and recommend the next course of action as far as identifying which one of the suppliers we would go with. And then we would notify the city of the bid amount and verify continued participation, and then basically have everything in place and the funding transfer plan identified and ready to go before we would actually place the order by awarding the bid. So basically just making sure all the ducks are in a row for the money to arrive to us so that we can pay when the materials start arriving. Like I said, this could be, we're looking at approximately 70 weeks. So there is a meeting, a workshop on August 11th, to which I was planning to attend and talk to the city council members about the importance of the time period that we're dealing with on this for this project. In order for the annexation, the mains were supposed to be in a 3-year time period. And I don't even think that we could even make that, even if we ordered the material today. I don't think that could happen because of the time frame for the material. Obviously, this length of time for material is very in my years of experience, I don't recollect a time where we've had this much trouble getting material.
Yeah, they thought they were gonna get a grant to assist them with this.
There was an attempt to get a grant. They applied for a grant with the sanitary district. They were going to apply for the grant with us as well. The problem is that the grant organization, whoever it was that this grant was through, I think it was the State Economic Development Organization, they moved the deadline up to a point where we were just about done with our engineer's estimate, but we weren't done in time for the new deadline that they created. And the reason why they moved the deadline up was they had so many applications for the grant money that they decided to cut it off and just move forward. So I received notification, but I mean, when it comes to grant applications, it was a last minute notification from Yvonne Hoffmaster that she needed our information like the next day essentially in order to apply for it, and we couldn't make it happen because we were still wrapping up our engineers' probable costs.
Is there another cycle for those grants?
Obviously, if another grant opportunity does come up, it would definitely behoove the city to go after that grant.
With this infrastructure bill, you think?
It all depends on where the money's going to go and how it's going to hand out. So One of the questions that came up, of course, they talked a little, somebody had brought up lead service lines. We do have some lead goosenecks in our system, which we've been removing. We do not have issues with lead in our water. We do test that on a regular basis, and our readings are very good for that. But we have been removing those on our own. In order to do it in a short period of time, it would take a considerable amount of money. My last estimate is a little over $2 million to do it in a 3-year time span. There was some money that was being allocated for lead service line replacement, but my understanding is the majority of that money is only available through loans through the Indiana Finance Authority and the state revolving fund loan. So it's not actually a grant. It's a low interest loan. We're not in a to get those removed as far as the department's concerned, because like I said, we do our lead and copper testing like we're supposed to, and we specifically locate places that have lead goosenecks in them, and all of our test reports have come back below the limits for lead. So we're in good shape there. Plus, we also feed a corrosion control inhibitor to make sure that we don't go the other direction. And in the end, it's up to the city council if they want to allocate money. I mean, I suppose we'd be willing to take it to do that project, to accelerate that project if they were willing to provide the funding for that. Otherwise, we'll continue to do it out of our current operating budget. We do a little over 100, maybe close to 200 a year, depending on the year. This year might be a little low because of all the water main projects, but we try to do around 100 to 150 a year. So it'll take us a while to do it, but like I said, we're not in a rush to do it. We're not under any kind of orders from IDEM or from the EPA on that.
What area of 20 is this?
This is the area basically starting from the interchange where 212 and 20 meet, and running down 20 past the cemetery, Swan Lake Cemetery, and then covering, there's two properties there, one on the south side, one on the north side, large areas of acreage for industrial commercial development. And then the water main would run from basically where the airport is, along 20, and then run through back into Warnke. I'm not Warnke, I'm sorry, Mainkey, out by the GAF property.
Oh, okay. By that Kia dealership, around the outside of that?
No, this would be basically along US 20 from the airport down to approximately where the storage facility is on 20, and then across the street and through that property on the north side, or I guess it's north side of 20, and then all the way back up to Mainkey and tying in there, where we currently have decent sized water main as well by the GAF property that's in
Like where Platinum Gymnastics and all that is back there?
Yeah. Back there.
Past the
I can't remember the
dealership
name of
though.
the-
It's past the dealership back there, right?
Yeah, but we're not gonna stay out on the boulevard. We already have water main on the boulevard.
Wow, okay.
That area is already in the city limits. That wasn't annexed as part of this.
Wow.
What time's that workshop?
I believe it's at 3:30 at City Hall.
You need approval on this then?
I guess basically the approval would be that that we start the process to acquire the materials pending agreement by the city to pay for those materials. So,
You have an engineer we're gonna engage?
at this point in time, Haas and Associates is most familiar with the project on our behalf. They did the preliminary work, so it would make sense to use them.
All right,
Okay.
so we need a motion to proceed with,
I make a motion to proceed with the approval of the material acquisition on behalf, or excuse me, for the US 20 annexation. Assuming, let's see here, assuming the agreement by the city council to pay. It's a lot of words, but
I'll second it.
all right, there's a motion to second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, old business.
Under old business, I just wanted to provide an update. We are nearly complete on Twilight and on Twilight Drive and Whitefoot. I'm assuming we will probably be ready to activate Twilight by the end of this week. And then Whitefoot will probably take us another week or so to finish up what we gotta do. But the contractor did do the directional bore, and all the water main is in there, and we just gotta go back and put in some of the other items that we needed to install.
Nice.
And then the project on County Road 300 North, 950 West, it has started for the water. They started off with the casing underneath the pipeline that crosses County Road 300. So the project is underway as far as the department's concerned for the water side of things. We will probably be getting some sort of letter requesting the funds that we had promised to supply to the project, which I believe is $250,000.
Is it the Loves Project?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also under old business, we met in executive session, discuss a memorandum of understanding. So we would need to have a vote to approve finalizing this operator certification memorandum of understanding with the union as discussed in the executive session.
like make a motion.
Move that.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the union as it relates to operator certifications as discussed in the executive session.
I'll second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
That's it for old business.
Any new business?
Yes, under new business, just wanted to let the board know that we are in the process of doing our State Board of Accounts audit, which is why we have a nice stack of boxes right here. They're going through all of our cash receipts for the year, so normally those are stored away in the basement.
Never received it yet. Yeah.
They'll be, I would assume that they're gonna be done pretty soon with that, with our work. And then the department is hosting the Indiana Section 8 WWA Operator School again this year at the treatment plant. I'm doing the instruction. Last year we had 17 students. This year I only have 5, so that's actually not a bad thing. Actually,
Any locals?
nobody from our department signed up for it. We do have some folks from other communities that are nearby.
All right.
And that's all I had under new business.
All right, any public comments? Any director's comments?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Michigan City Water Board for August 9th.
I'll second it.
First, second, we adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, keep it open.